Once Sri Ravindranath Tagore said, "Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert scent of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake, let my country awake." So on that note, a very hearty good morning. Namaskar sabhi ko. Today, I, Rishika, your host for the entire day in this educational conclave, extend my heartiest welcome to each and everybody present here. Can we have a huge round of applause for Education Leaders Conclave and Award, everybody? So I welcome you all to Education Leaders Conclave and Award, and I would love to extend a very big thank you to all our partners who made the scale and grandeur of today's conclave possible. So ladies and gentlemen, I would love to extend a quick shout out to all the organizing partners and supporters with whose support we are here today, sitting at this conclave and going to share the enlightening and amazing ideas for the education coming forward in this century. So ladies and gentlemen, I would love to thank our presenting partner, Observe Now, our partner, College Dunya, our co-presenting partner, LinkedIn, our powered by partner, ICFAI Business School, our career mentoring partner, Intercell, the data analytics partner, Lagozon Technologies Private Limited, NEP knowledge partner, Singhania Quest Plus, travel tech partner, Hippies, university partner, IES University Bhopal, EdTech partner, Anthology Inc., design partner, IIFT, Indian Institute Fashion and Design, associate partners, Power School, Yangpu Executive Education, Logicwits, exhibitors, Application Uni, Open Door, Zell Education, YPay, Telecast partner, ET Now, AAI Editors, media partner, Dainik Jagaran, supporting partner, KIET University, Sharda University, GIET, and our CSR partner, Pleasant Stride Foundation. Can we have a huge round of applause, because these are their efforts that we are here today. So ladies and gentlemen, there has been a quote that if you teach your kids happiness, there would be happiness all around. If you teach your kids harmony, there would be harmony all around the world. And now, when we are focusing on multidisciplinary education, so we have to teach our kids in a very holistic approach, right? And this is what the conclave is all about. Today, we'll be discussing some executive ideas about how we can bring change in the 21st century. So today's India's premier educationalists have gathered under one roof, and through a series of inspirational keynote sessions, panel discussions, through Reader, we will share their perspective on the changing education landscape in India. The conference will also explore forward-looking themes in the Indian tech market, focusing EdTech trends, mapping and meeting the current and future trajectory of skills and courses required. So, ladies and gentlemen, just fasten your seat belts, because we are going to take you on an educational ride. So, ladies and gentlemen, now may I request everybody, so let's start this celebration with positive vibration through a lamp lighting ceremony. And I would request Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Ms. Tanya Tikku, Mr. Tanjot Singh, Ms. Achal Chopra, and Mr. Sudhakar Rao to please do the honors and kick-start this ceremony with the lamp lighting ceremony. With this lamp lighting ceremony, there would be all positive vibrations gathered around the conclave. से प्रकाश की तरफ और अज्ञान से ज्ञान की तरफ. So ladies and gentlemen, this was the lamp lighting ceremony. And now I would love to invite Ms. Tanya Tikku, co-founder and editor-in-chief, Observe Now, to deliver a welcome note, because who would be better than her to start the ceremony.
Good morning. I'm so happy to welcome all of you in literally what's my favorite city in north of India, Chandigarh. And even happier to be in presence of esteemed leaders like yourselves all in one room. So I formally welcome you all to India's largest education leaders conclave and awards. Observe Now, we've been working very closely with the education fraternity since the dawn of COVID-19 pandemic. And believe me when I say this, we've seen everything with you. We've seen the sudden online classes. We've seen the online assessments. We've seen this paradigm shift in teaching learning technologies. And we've seen the sudden influx and implementation of NEP with you guys as well. Our aim as a company here is to be a part of your journey, is to map how India is changing, is to map how India is learning and pass it on across to the rest of the country. So today, when I'm standing here in this room full of India's brightest minds in education industry, I can only expect the future of this conference today should be around all of us deliberating about what the future would look like for the education space in India. How are we deliberating and mapping on the new age skills that are required by the industry at this point in time? How are we enhancing our learning and teaching methodologies? How are we really preparing our students to be the workforce of the future? And while we are at it, towards the end of this conversation, we will also be awarding certain industry leaders from the school education sector and also the higher education sector who have been instrumental in withstanding the sudden change that came in this sector with the worst hit humanitarian crisis of a century, that was COVID-19 pandemic, and how they sailed the entire industry through it. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax and join Observe Now and all our partners here today in this roller coaster journey of the future. Let's all be a part of the revolution in the education industry all together. I now formally declare the proceedings open, and thank you so much all of you for being here. Let's have a super productive day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and that was indeed a fiery opening. So now, we will be beginning the inaugural session on redefining education and 21st century skills in new normal. And may I now invite Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Member of Parliament, former Union Minister, for his opening remarks.
Good morning, friends. Let me congratulate the organizers for putting together such a nice program, bringing together so many people from different aspects of providing education. And I'm sure those who have done well will receive the awards, and I want to congratulate them in advance for excelling in their respective fields. It is always a very interesting idea to discuss about education. And all of you don't just discuss it, but you actually practice it. You impart education. And that really is one of the most important aspects of changing the world, the society, the individual. And normally, that's the focus normally of education should be and has been on an individual, because that's what the student and teachers try to meet each other's minds and try to work together. And the teachers try to give her own or his own ideas and try to make student a change person for better. The challenge is that individual and teacher, which was always been a case of relationship developed as Guru Shishya Parampara for several centuries, is no longer really as intimate and intense as it used to be. And therefore, changing individual is done through a very interesting model, and that is we offer not just a customized course, but a regimented course. And in the process, we normally, many times, lose out the individuality of the person, which is so much required to actually change the individual. And therefore, education over a period of time has this big challenge of how to make sure that we'll not lose out on this very important aspect of making sure that education is a very important tool of changing that person who is the real target audience for the education process itself. And now, with new technologies coming in, and you have so many of them on display outside, they are very important. You can now give education even remotely, so you don't have to go to the classroom. The brick and mortar model might over a period of time may not even be there. But in the process, that is so necessary, of course. At the same time, the challenges of changing that individual through personal interaction is also going to have a very negative impact. So how do you deal with that is, I'm sure, over a period of time, the leaders like in education will be able to focus on that, think about that, talk about that, and come out with an ideas. Second aspect, important aspect is that why are you changing the individual? Is it only for that particular limited purpose that individual has to change, and then is the individual going to live in isolation? Is he going to live in a forest somewhere? Is he going to go into one of the caves of Himalayas and going to practice his further endeavors in life? He's going to be part of a life, part of society. So another important aspect therefore is, how do you change society through education? And that's the most important aspect. That means you are changing individual, but in the process, how do you make sure that education as a tool will be able to actually change the society as well at the same time? That's more challenging, because you are actually focusing in a classroom with only few people. And in any case, the people who are your students available to you are captive audience. They have no choice but to listen to you. So they will be always available to you in a precinct of one of the classrooms and in the fortress of a university or a school. But as you go along, the society is something which is not even being directly targeted by the process of education. So how do you change the society? Are you expecting the individual to go and change the society when he's going out of the school? Or he's going to be, because the society always has so many challenges that he will now be exhumed by the challenges of the society and they will lose whatever he learned? So that again is a big challenge, I think, I'm sure the leaders of education will have to address over a period of time. And third important aspect would be obviously that what is society? Are you living, like I was saying, the individual cannot live in isolation, the societies cannot live in seclusion. So society has to be part of a global community. And therefore the global challenges that we are facing today, whether it's climate change, whether it's inequality, whether now it's the war that we are facing, the extreme climates, of course, they are all consequences of the climate change in any case. All of them are going to affect the society. And therefore, if you ignore the reality of life that you are integrated, how do you actually address those issues? And if you don't address climate change, one of the days we'll all be gone. If you don't address the issues of inequality in the world, we'll always be having so much of social tensions. So therefore, you have to also address the global issues. So you have to address global issues, you have to change the society by only working with individuals. So that's the big issues, I think, in my opinion, confronting the education as a means of changing all these three at the same time. I'm sure you have the expertise, the experience, the knowledge, the capabilities, and now the new technologies. I am sure you will be able to focus on these three aspects at the same time. Otherwise, it will be a effort in vain, that we change the individual but not the society, so we will be ultimately gone. And even if you succeed in changing the society but not the world, I think the world is changing so fast and going to heading for such a great disaster that the societies won't exist. So I think that's because it's an existential issue. Climate change, for example, is threatening the existence of the entire human life, biological life. And therefore, this is something I'm sure the leaders in education during this very important aspect will deal with this. I'm very happy to see such very knowledgeable, top-class, successful people in the field of education assembled here. And that's real congratulations to the organizer that you could bring them together. I must thank ICFI for also being powering it. So I think the power of ICFI is very strong. So I think I'm sure they have powered it. So I think that will propel us into a much better world than what we are seeing today. Let me offer you best wishes. Today is also we are celebrating Eid. So let me offer my Eid best wishes to those who are fasted for one long month. So deserve to enjoy it and enjoy the rest of the year. So all the best to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think sir pointed out some of the critical challenges which the education world is facing right now. The integration and, of course, the importance of integration of society and individual and the world in general is some of the key thoughts which I think we have to think if we are reimagining the education system. So thank you so much, sir, for the remarks. And now I would request Miss Tanya Tikku to felicitate sir with a small token of reverence we have for him. Thank you so much, sir, for attending this conclave, and the remarks will pave forward the insights we will be discussing today. Thank you so much. All right, so going forward, now I would love to invite Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Director, ICFAI Group, for his opening remarks on the topic.
Very good morning to all of you. I'm very happy to be here this morning. Chandigarh as a city has always occupied a place of pride and a place of discipline in my mind and in most of our minds actually, including Tanya when she mentioned in her opening remarks. We haven't done much in Chandigarh till now. And we thought this is a great opportunity for us to do something in Chandigarh and continue to do something in Chandigarh from here on as well. So that brings us here. And we have a university called ELCA University Himachal that's located in Baddi. And these are the reasons why we have decided to actually work together with Observe Now. Jeet and Tanya have been a very enterprising couple. So we thought we should definitely go with them and understand and learn a little more than what we already know about the education landscape. With that premise, my respects to Suresh Prabhu sir, my respects to other dignitaries on the days, and all the influencers, leaders, prime movers from the education landscape from across the country. I welcome all of you. I also take this opportunity to welcome all the leaders from ELCA University Himachal Pradesh who have joined here. A big round of applause to you as well. I think there are conferences, there are conclaves, there are award ceremonies, plenty across the country. These are happening every now and then. We seem to be talking quite a bit and following a little less on what we actually talk. For example, NEP 2020 has been talked about widely and abundantly. The implementation of NEP 20 has not been talked that much. That's just an example. The community of educators is also blamed for another important aspect. That is, we tend to talk a lot. Whether we follow it up or not, we tend to talk a lot. I think the important signals for this conference and also for the future which is moving from the know-how to be-how to do-how. I think these are the important aspects on which we all together will have to focus on. How much we know and what are we supposed to know has been a thing of past. With the advent of technologies which are plain, singular, as well as technologies like generative AI, we have chat GPT-3s and DALL-E 2s and many other generative AI tools. I'm sure the know-how is not going to be a problem except for the fact that we need to decide what we have to know. We need to cut the chase and come to the most important aspects of what we need to know, what the students will have to know. I think the know-how factor is not going to be the differentiator. It's not going to make us the winner. Except for the fact that from the days of COVID, when the world was on a wing and a prayer, we accelerated use of technology and remote learning. After COVID, that is post-COVID, we have to move to what is called a hybrid system in which the learning will have to be not just a tool-based learning, but also the merit of the institution is determined by the choice of what goes in online and what goes in offline. That judicious mix, that matured choice, I think determines the merit of the organization or the merit of the institution. So know-how is important definitely, but then know-how itself will not differentiate us. Now coming to be-how, the behavioral aspects, being the role models ourselves, we abstain ourselves from many of the things, we distract the crowd from many of the aspects that are emerging and looking at us, and we try and look astray and say as if it's not important. It is you, the students, who are important, not we, the teachers and the institutions, that are important to follow behaviorally certain aspects, which is the most important malaise. In my view, the students, thousands of them in our universities and schools and colleges, are watching us, looking at us very closely, and they are trying to see if what we have taught in the know-how aspect, are we actually following it up in the be-how aspect. We are not actually. The way we treat the students, the way we treat our fellow staff, the way we treat our fellow colleagues, the way we treat all kinds of people who interact, the stakeholders of our universities and education partners, there has been less than ideal kind of behavior from us. We abstain from social media and say that social media is not good. We need to get into social media and be a role model, continue to be there, write the best things that you can so that the kids can look up to you, can follow you, admire you, converse with you. All those things are possible. When we are confronted with some difficult questions, we look astray and say that you will learn about it in higher classes. I think the be-how has been found much wanting in us. We are so lucky, all of us sitting in this amazing hall. There are no students here. There is no conflict. All of us are like-minded. It's the safest conference. I mean, most of the conferences are the safest. Imagine a conference where we have students and the teachers and all of us sitting together and some questions thrown from the stage and we get to debate. Pata chalega ki kaun kya actually kar raha hai on know-how, be-how, and we'll come to the do-how. Do-how is about the skilling. Higher institutes of higher learning have very little time. That's what is the grouse. The schools are supposed to do a lot. We keep on blaming them, blaming it on each other. The companies and the organizations that recruit the students, they blame on the education institutions. I think we need to partner very well. That is also part of how we share the responsibilities, take the ownership, and try and create a cadre of professionals that is required for building this country for the next 100 years. So the do-how is about granularity, about the 10 steps, thinking about 10 steps ahead and thinking down 10 steps. Suresh Prabhu sir is a man of scale and impact. I've had the great opportunity of listening to him when he visited ICFA University, Hyderabad, and he delivered the prestigious NJ Yashasvi Memorial Lecture last year. and he shared his association and affinity for our founder, Yashasvi, and his ideals about NEP, what is being talked about in NEP, but the multidisciplinarity, the use of technology, the credit transfer system, the openness and transparency with which you build your institutions, right from architecture to your behavior. Sir, I mean, that has gone viral actually, the video of his talk, which he delivered last time when he visited our university at Hyderabad. Following from there, if we don't reduce those ideals into behavioral aspects and be a role model, we will fail. If we don't learn a thing or two to think ahead, 10 steps or a few steps ahead, we will fail. I think constantly, it is not a teacher and a taught kind of a matrix that we are going to live in. We are going to live in a learner-learner kind of a matrix we are all going to live in. We may have a large institutions, but we will be continuing to learn from wherever we are, from our homes and living rooms, and we come and work on what is called the granularity required in camaraderie, bonding, meeting people, learning social skills, the skills that the country is required based on plurality, diversity, equity, and all these aspects. So the do-how is the skill area where we need to prepare them on trying to understand the randomization of aspects of the real life. It's all random. Can we learn to come to grips with something unknown? We will have to work together. The learner-learner matrix inside an institution will have to deal with the randomness that is prevalent in the world. The other one is to be prepared for any eventuality. The mindsets and the mental makeup make this country or build this country. If we have to derive the dividend of this demography, this amazing demography, we all will have to work on moving from know-how to be-how to do-how and penetrate very well in the do-how in the skill areas. Not just in the skill required for grappling with technologies, but the skill required to grapple with the plurality of this country in the workspaces, in society, and of course abroad. I think the mindset will help us move forward. With these few words, I want to once again congratulate all the members who have participated. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I would like to sit back right in the hall and learn from all of you, participate in the discussions, and if possible, contribute a little bit to the discussion and the dialogue that is going to go on for the entire day. Once again, thank you all for this great opportunity.
So thank you so much, Mr. Rao. And I think the penetration and segregation of know-how, be-how, and do-how surely provides a framework for the going forward approach in education. So coming up next, I would love to invite Mr. Taranjot Singh, AVP Sales, College Dunia, for his opening remarks.
Good morning, all. I think I couldn't articulate it better than Dr. Rao. So I'll rather skip to the part which College Dunia would rather be more valuable. So one thing is very much obvious that one single thing that will be part of the present and will be part of the future of education, it's technology. And that's where the players like College Dunia, the CRM partners, the publishers, they all kind of come into play. Now we are seeing a disruption after this COVID, the novel coronavirus, that how the admissions have transformed or evolved from just an admission to a content-based and a match of a student with the college or university. That's how the admissions and marketing of the HEIs have kind of evolved. And in this 21st century, this is the thing that this specific aspect is going to get more and more meticulous with respect to matching of a student with the value system of the HEI, specific HEI. The tactical execution of the marketing itself is not going to suffice. it has to be more comprehensive. It has to be more comprehensive, which the universities, the top universities are actually kind of doing it. They are having a more 360-degree marketing approach for finding their exact target audience, finding their exact students that they can that they can onboard. The focus is going to more go into the creativity by using the videos, the reels, the social media platforms, and of late that AI and chat GPT. How are we going to use these tools is something which is going to get unfolded in the coming years as well. I think that's the overall thought from my side, that how education is getting evolved with respect to the marketing and admissions bit for the 21st century. I think that's all from my side. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mr. Taranjot. And I think the focus on AI and how it is going to be unfolded is a big question, which I think we are going to explore in the session coming ahead. So coming up next, I would love to call Miss Aanchal Chopra, Regional Head and Account Director, ANG India, LinkedIn, for her opening remarks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm totally delighted and excited. I think, my key speaker, Dr. Sudhakar Rao, rightly said Chandigarh is such a welcoming city, and I would always say in my conversations whenever I'm in Punjab that, this is the city of hospitality. A lot of education institutes are here in Punjab, in Chandigarh, and we are actually building global workforce from this city. So we are totally honored and very excited as LinkedIn to be here with Observe now and talking about a very crucial topic which is really affecting all of us as educationists, as industry, that how can I redefine education and how can I prepare for future skills. So let's just, I'll talk about a little numbers, which is very, very important, because whenever we are talking about students, employability, it is very important to understand how the world of work is changing. And as per World Economic Forum report, by 2025, there are going to be 85 million jobs going to obsolete. And there are 97 million jobs are going to come new by 2025. That's the number in futures. As per LinkedIn Skill Evolution report, I would like to highlight, in last 6 years, there are about 29.5% skill set change has happened in every job role across industry. That's going to be further widened up to about 45%, which is what we are looking at the number by 2025 again. So what it really means in simple terms, today, the way we do our jobs are very different the way I used to do my job in last 5 years. So, or let's say in 2015, if I were a marketing specialist, I would have a very different tool. Today, there are a lot of new skill sets which are coming up. So in a decade, that's the kind of a skill change happening around us. We are talking about GPT technologies. I remember about a year back, as LinkedIn, we were again with ET conference, and we were really talking about newer AI technologies. I wasn't talking about, industry was not talking about these generative technologies then. This is happening, it is happening so real. So I would like to highlight that we are actually living in a moment of change, which is unlike anything that we have seen it before. So that's what is real. So once again, I would really like to highlight and congratulate Observe Now for picking up this such an important topic, where all of us are gathered today here, and we are talking about, we are going to deliberate, we are going to talk, we are going to celebrate, and in a nutshell, we are going to prepare for future. As higher education, I would also highlight that we need to keep track of these changes. So let me just quickly, highlight one more thing, specifically from a LinkedIn's perspective. Why LinkedIn is here today, why we are talking about LinkedIn for higher education or why LinkedIn is in higher education event, it is because as LinkedIn, we are the largest talent marketplace. We are a platform where we've been helping Fortune 100 companies, India's top 500 companies, startups. We are really helping companies hire through this particular platform. We are helping companies upskill and reskill their employees through this particular platform. Companies are taking talent decisions using LinkedIn platform because this is the place where a lot of data is there. Now, as LinkedIn, I see skills are changing. Now, as higher education institutes, it is our responsibility. In fact, that's how we need to be agile. We need to be nimble in terms of first understanding what is the skill change. I think, again, my fellow speaker, sir, has really highlighted that do how, know how. I think such a beautiful thing to highlight. Actually, we need to understand how these skills are changing. And can we really tap it on a real-time basis? Once we are understanding these skill changes, how are we impacting it in our pedagogy? Human skills plus technology skills. Are we preparing our students for life? Are we preparing our students not only on the skills which are required for me to be a computer software engineer, but somewhere I can be a lifelong learner? That's something that we really have to build and we really have to give it back. So I think throughout the day, again, we have a lot of people, a lot of panels who are here. We are going to talk about it. Again, I'm going to sit back, learn, talk about and understand how, as higher education fraternity, we are moving towards it, creating employability for students, bridging this education gap, and actually preparing our students for future. So thank you once again. I'm really excited and look forward to be with everyone here.
So thank you so much, Ms. Achal, and I surely agree with you that this is the moment of change, but I'm sure the organizations like LinkedIn are paving its way for embracing the change. So thank you so much. So coming up next, I would request again Ms. Tanya Tikku to felicitate our panelist with a small token of reverence. I would request Mr. Sudhakar Rao ji to accept this small, I would request Ms. Achal Chopra ji to accept the small token of reverence we have for you. Thank you so much for joining us today. So it was a pleasure to have you, Mr. Rao. Thank you so much. And now I would request Mr. Taranjot Singh to kindly accept this small token of respect we have for you. Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh Prabhuji. And I think the presence in itself of the panelists adds a lot of insights in the conclave. A huge round of applause for the opening panelists for today.